Hello guys, my name is Evans and welcome to this tutorial where I'm going to start doing videos on the IGCSE ICT 2016 June paper 3, and this time around I've decided to start with paper 3 too. I hope I will manage to do a video on paper 3.1, but if I don't, I thought paper 3.2 would really give you guys some nice concepts that you need for the exam. So this video is going to be in 3 parts. The first part is going to do with data analysis, and the second part web authoring, and then the last part I think should work with training notes and stuff. So we'll go straight into Excel. A number of you did complain about Excel that did have some confusing formulas and all. I hope not to take so much time in trying to explain those formulas, but here and there I will do explain the formulas just for you guys to know what you're doing. I would love it that you go into the exam with confidence that you're going to use this formula, understanding what it's going to be used for. Okay, so the scenario is that before I get to the scenario, let's deal with the task 1, evidence document. Okay, so open the file. I must say also that I did download my files already, so I forgot to mention that I did download my files already. What I've done is that I've already prepared this file, June 2016 paper 3.2 files. I'm going to upload this onto my Dropbox, and I'll put a link under this video where you can download these files, and then you can work with it. I've also tried to include the mark scheme. A number of you were asking me for the mark scheme in the last video tutorial that I did for paper 2, and I've decided to include the mark scheme also inside. So you find the question paper, the mark scheme, as well as the files that you need for this paper. Okay, so the files that I'll be using are here. Yeah, so these are the files that I'll be using for this paper. I hope to be quick, or as quickly, not as quickly, as quick as possible. All right. Okay, so let's take a dive into what we're supposed to do for today. Today or tonight. This is tonight. This is almost 9:20 p.m. my time. I hope to be done maybe by 10 p.m. or so. Okay, so open the file 1632 evidence.rtf and make sure that your center number and candidate number will appear on every page of your evidence document by placing these details in the header. Okay, so we've been told to put these details in the header. Let's go ahead and do just that. So we are looking for a file called evidence. It's this one. Open it, and okay, so I'm going to let's see, I had the file that I was working on initially, just seeing if this will work out, and I didn't close it. So right, so let's go insert into our header blank 3 column, and again I cannot emphasize or overemphasize the importance of using the blank 3 column. Okay, Chikasa Evans, ZM 556, and lastly my candidate number 0001. So this is done. Let's go back to the question paper. Save this evidence document as a word process document in your work area as 1632 evidence followed by your candidate number. So let's go ahead and save that document. I almost saved the PDF file, the question paper. Okay, so file and save as into my current folder, and then I don't need to change to the current format of the software I'm using. So I'm just gonna add the candidate number at the end there and click on save. Okay, right, so you will need your evidence document during the examination to enter answers to the questions and to place your screenshots in when required. Okay, so task 2, spreadsheet. So the scenario is that you're going to prepare a spreadsheet for Goa Elephant Sanctuary to manage employees' wages. Okay, so use the most efficient formula Guys, this is very important. There are many ways of doing things here, but you must use the most efficient formula. For example, if you're going to add up sales, a range of sales, let's say from A12 to let's say to A50, you cannot just start up and saying A12 plus A13 plus A14 plus A15 plus A16 all the way to A50. I mean, even though you will get the true answer, but that is not the most efficient method. Imagine how long it will take you to do just that by the time you get to A50. Suppose you have over 1,000 cells, and what are you going to do if you're going to add up like that? So you must use the most efficient formula throughout this data analysis section. Okay, so you are going to display all currency values in Indian rupees to 2 decimal places. Okay, so for example, that symbol there, I don't know if it's the symbol for Indian rupee. You guys from India, I'm sure you know that symbol, but I know the INR. It could be Indian rupee, just by looking. Just by looking, you can tell this is Indian rupee. Okay, so we're going to do that. My currency actually is the symbol is K, and this part is ZMK. Okay, so yeah, so 1 rupee is equal to 100 paisa. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly. Maybe it's paisa or what, but it could be paisa. 100 paisa. And so that is the scenario that we have. So guys, just be careful here. The currency values are supposed to be displayed to 2 decimal places. Okay, mark these, guys, very important. If I had a highlighter here, do I have a highlighter here? Nah, it's okay. So step 1, using a suitable software package, load the file 1632 sheet.csv. okay, so the file in question is this one. I'm just going to double click on it, and by default it will open in Excel. The first thing that you want to do when you just load up this file is to make sure that this table, you select it here and expand the fields like that. It's very important, guys. I cannot overemphasize this. It's very important that your fields, you are able to see the borders or the boundaries, where your B column is, your C column is, and what is in each of these fields. It's very important. And as you continue to work through, as you progress, if you enter something that is long and it's extending to another field, click here and double click to expand your column width, okay, so that every data actually fits within the column. It's actually one of the requirements before you print out, that make sure that your data is actually fitting in each column. Okay, so let's go ahead. Okay, so we have given this, and then we need to save this file as a spreadsheet. Okay, very important, but we are going to save it with 1632 underscore and then center number and candidate number. For example, 1362 and then the center number and the candidate number as this. So let's go ahead and save this file. Save as in my current folder. I'll just remove the sheet there and add the center number ZM556 and underscore 0001, and we're asked to save it in the format or as a spreadsheet. So save it as an Excel workbook and click on save. Next step, place an automated file name which includes file path on the left in the footer. Okay, so let's go ahead. On the left in the footer, we include an automated file name which includes the path. Okay, so go to insert and then go to header and footer. Now once you are to header and footer, you may try to scroll down here and you notice that you may not see the footer at the bottom there. So you don't need to worry. Okay, you don't need to worry. So I'll go back here and insert header and footer. So how you maneuver around, I don't know if it's the same with Excel, Excel 2013 and 2010 or 2007, depending on what you're using, but it's maybe slightly different. But on this one, how you go to the header and how you go to the footer, you just under here where it says navigation, click here and you go to the footer. click here and you go to the header. Okay, so go here to the footer, and then in the left column here you are going to add the file name plus path. Now guys, you must be very careful here. The file name here, you don't find quick paths like you'd find in Microsoft Word, but the file name and path are here. The time and everything that you need, the page numbers, everything is here. Okay, so these are the header and footer elements. In other words, these are the things that can go in a header and in a footer in Excel. Okay, other than that, you can just type in whatever you want. So if you go here and say file name and then file path, this is wrong, guys, because one, you have the file name, which is the file here, and again you have the file at the end there. So this is actually what you're saying. This is file name plus path plus file name again, and it's not good. Okay, so you don't need this. So I'm going to just undo this, or simply delete this. I don't need it. Okay, what I need is just file path. The one that says file path, it says add the name of the current file including the full path to the header or footer. If you hover your mouse over file name, it says add the name of the current file to the header or footer. This one doesn't put the path. So the one that you need is this one that will be able to put the path. Then you'll be able to say path and file. Okay, so when you click outside there, you should be able to see your path, and then at the end there you will see the file name. Okay, good. Let's go back to the question paper. So we're done with this one, and there you go with your first mark. Congratulations. You've got your first mark. Okay, so number 2, insert 2 new rows between rows 12 and 13. Okay, my wife is looking at me. She's disturbing me. Don't worry, guys, I'm with my wife at the office, so she's looking at me and I'm recording something, so she's disturbing me. All right. Okay, so the next thing that I want to do is to insert 2 new rows between rows 12 and 13. And so let's go back here, rows 12 and 13. So I'll scroll up, row 12 and 13. So this is 12 and this is 13. Now guys, I must say here that if you have been asked to insert a new row between 2 existing rows, the only way you can do that is when you select the last row that you've been asked. For example, you've been asked to select to insert between row 12 and row 13. So if whatever I'm going to insert is going to go between row 12 and 13, then I have to select the last row, which is row 13, and right click and say insert, and you see just after row 12 I'll have a blank row, and I'll right click the same 13 and insert again, and just after 12 I'll have 2 blank rows. Okay, so as it were, I've inserted 2 new columns between row 12 and 13, but the one which was row 13 is now row 15, and so the 2 new columns are these ones here. Okay, so this is what we have done. Next, in cell F14, enter this. Okay, now guys, again, when you've been asked to enter something and the name has been put in bold, the examiner is actually asking you to type it as it is. So where there is capital letter, you need to enter capital letter. Where there is small letter, you need to enter small letter. The data should be entered accurately, okay, the way it appears, the way it is. Don't try to enter it the way you think it would look nice. Okay, enter it the way it is in the question paper. Okay, so for the sake of time, I'm just going to copy this, okay, and go back to my Excel, and I'm entering this into pasting it in 14. Okay, there you go. Next question, next step, step 4, merge the cells F14 to H14, and then let's just go do that. H14 is that one, and merge and center. Go back here and we do some formatting. Says format this cell so that the text is center aligned. Of course, when we did merge cell, merge and center, it was center aligned, but we want it to be black with 24 points, and it's a serif font. So it is already black and it needs to be 24 points. So just go ahead and select 24, and it needs to be let's see, the last part needs to be a serif font. Okay, currently it is a sans serif font because Calibri is a sans serif font, and I'm going to select Times New Roman. Okay, that's better. Go back. So it says next step, make the contents of the cells in row 1, 2, 15 and 16 bold and italic. Okay, so 1, 2, then 15 and 16, we need to make them bold and italic. So I'll select row 1, hold my control key on my keyboard, select row 2. Check how I'm selecting right on the row numbers here. Okay, not here but row numbers, and the entire row is being selected. Then I'll go to row 15, click here and click here, and I've selected them. So I need to make them bold and italic. Okay, so we've made them bold and italic. As you can see, they are bold and italic. Excellent. So we go back and let's go to step 6. In cell D17, enter a function to look up from the external file 1632 jobs.csv and the job description of the employees. Okay, so let's go back to the file that we have been asked. Jobs is this one. I'm going to just open it for now, and this is the file that we want. I'm going to select it and just right click. Now guys, this is very important because you've been just asked to use a lookup function. They've not told you whether you're supposed to use VLOOKUP or HLOOKUP. And in some videos, I've stated the difference and when and where you're supposed to use VLOOKUP and HLOOKUP. Now, just for the sake of you guys, just to refresh our minds, VLOOKUP is actually used when you are searching for data that is listed in columns. Okay, we not necessarily in columns. Yeah, in columns. Let me say, when you have data that is in this direction. Okay, you have multiple rows, or let me just say, when you have the number of rows are more than the number of columns, then you are going to use VLOOKUP to actually search throughout that data. Okay, when you have the number of rows, in this case we have got 23 rows and we have got only 2 columns. So when the number of rows are more than the number of columns, then you are going to use VLOOKUP, because you're saying I'm going to search in this data in a vertical way. Okay, so that's why VLOOKUP actually stands for vertical lookup. So you're looking up this data in a vertical way from top going down there. But when you have data that is arranged in this way, when you have just 2 rows but you have multiple columns like this, then you are using you are using the HLOOKUP. Okay, what you're saying is that you're going to search throughout the data in a horizontal way. Okay, from the left going to the right, and you're going to look up that data. So you're going to use HLOOKUP. So guys, I hope I've made clear. And in this case, we're going to use VLOOKUP to look up this data, and we are looking up the job code, and the lookup value is the job code, and the result, what we want to display, is actually job description. So I'll go back here to the first Excel, and then I'll click under job description. Let's go back to the question paper. It says in cell D17, enter a function to look up from the external file, this external file, the job description, okay, of the employee. So we are looking up the job description. So the value that is giving us the job description, if you go back to the other Excel one, is the job code. For example, the code, when it's AD, whenever you are going to see AD, then we know that this is an administrator. Whenever you see GA, we know that this is a get admission. I almost say this is a get man. When you have a get man at home. Okay, so TA is transport assistant, and HRA is head ranger, and so on and so forth. Okay, so in other words, the job code is giving you an idea of the job description that you have. Okay, so we go back to our table. So in the job description, in our table, we do have the job code, and each job code should give us an idea of what we are. So what we are saying is, I'm going to compare this value in this table compared to, so for example, SD, I'll look it up in this table, find where there is SD in the vertical here, so that when I find where SD is, like in this case, I find SD here. Can you retrieve the value that is corresponding directly with SD? In this case, can you retrieve sanctuary director? Okay, so this is what is going to happen. So for example, I'll start here. I'll say VLOOKUP, okay, and then I'll look up C. I don't know if it's C. Is it C17? Yeah, C17, because this is the job code, and then comma. Now I specify the table that I want to use. Okay, now I've seen some people, they go right here to the table and rather this table, and just specify the table that they want. They just specify this range. Okay, but I'm not so much a fan of doing that. Okay, they just specify this like that, and then it automatically picks up this. Of course it's okay, but I don't need this. Okay, I'm going to state what I don't want is this part that is put in the brackets. It's more like a repetition, and you still have this one again put in the brackets. I mean this side. So I don't want this. The easier way that I can do this is actually, okay, I can cut this. I can cut it like that. Okay, it's fine. And then I just need to specify that this is my .csv file. CSV file. This is perfectly fine and it will work, but just for the sake of illustrating how you guys, you need to know your formulas, I'm just going to go back. Let me just remove this. Go back here. Let me go back again. Say VLOOKUP. We have C17, that one, comma, and I'll type in my value. Okay, so the name of the table is actually this one. So you can pick up the name of the table is this one. So I'm just going to get the name of the table, come here and paste the name of put my colony, or if you want just put first single colony, or single quote, not colony, single quote. First single quote, and then this file, I provide the extension for this file. This is a CSV file. Okay, and then I end my quote, my single quote or single apostrophe, and then exclamation mark. Okay, and then I need to specify what range I want to access from this table. So if I go back to this table, it is from A to, please don't click here, because once you click here, the formula goes up in there. Okay, so don't click here. So the table that I want is from A2 to all the way to B23 here. Okay, now guys, this I don't want it to change when I come to replicate the formula. I don't want it to change. Remember, there are two types of referencing that you can make to a cell. You can make absolute referencing as well as relative referencing. When you do a relative referencing, when you replicate a formula, the cells automatically readjust to suit the cells that you are trying to refer to. However, when you use the absolute referencing, even if you drag, the cells that you want to maintain as the ones you want to refer to are actually not changed, so they are the same cells. So in this case, whenever I replicate this formula, I want always the lookup to keep on looking to this array or this table. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is just to type in the range that I want here. Okay, so I'll go here and say absolute A2, okay, to absolute B23, B23. Okay, so this is the value that is going to, this is my table array. Okay, and I'll put comma and then the column index. Now guys, the column index represents the value that you want to retrieve. Okay, the first column is actually labeled column 1, and so as you move to the right, the VLOOKUP starts to search from the left going to the right, and the first value it searches for, which is supposed to be the lookup value, is actually the first one, the column 1. Okay, the lookup value is a column 1, and the one that you want to retrieve actually is column number 2, not true. Column number 2. All right, so let's go. So what I want is, as you can see, job description is column number 2. So I'm just gonna type in 2 here, hit comma, and then I select whether I want true or false. Okay, and true returns an approximate match, and false returns an exact match. In this case, I want exactly, when it's SD, I want it to give me exactly what SD represents. When it's FD, I want exactly what FD represents. So this is going to be false. Now remember, they are Boolean values. Okay, true is a Boolean value and false is a Boolean value, and we know true is represented by 1 and false is represented by 0. So if I type in 1 there, then I'm referring to approximate match. If I type in 0, I'm referring to exact match. So it doesn't matter whether you use 0 or 1 here. Okay, I love just to use false. Okay. Let it be false. Okay, and I'll close this, and I think hit enter, and you see that SD actually retrieves sanctuary director. Okay, done with this one. Okay, guys, you guys, if you have any question on this one, I'm just gonna select this and enlarge it, and that's fine. If you have any question, please go back to rewind the video. That's why it's a video. As it's a video tutorial, you can always go back and do that. But if you do have a specific question, you can ask me under the comments here, and I'll have, if I do have some chance to look up, you know, I just have so many things to do nowadays, and I'm hardly having time to record these videos, but it's a sacrifice. As you can see, it's almost 10 p.m. my time here, and my wife just came along to keep me company as I was going to record these videos. So I think you should say a big thank you to my wife. Not many wives do allow their husband to stay up this late at work. But yeah, I think you should say a big thank you to my wife for allowing me to record this video for you guys. Okay, so I'm going to go to the next step. So we're done with step 6, and I'm going to go into step 7. It says in cell E17, we're supposed to enter a function to 1. Look up from the pay grade table the annual pay rate for this employee, and then we're going to multiply this by the value in the works column. Okay, so again, the decision comes in whether you're going to use let me just do this. The decision will come in, we are still looking up using the lookup value, but the decision comes in whether you're going to use a VLOOKUP, or you're going to use HLOOKUP, or you're just going to use the lookup function. Okay, and each of them has got something specific that you can go for, or that can be returned. In our case, let's look at the pay grade table that we are looking at. So I'm going to just escape from this. Let's go to this table. So the pay grade table is actually this one here. So this is the pay grade table. As you can see, data is arranged. We have more rows than columns, so we can use VLOOKUP. It can work. We can also use just lookup. Okay, now I'll explain why the lookup is such a powerful function that you can use, guys, in this tutorial. Okay, so maybe let me just type in what I want to type. I'm gonna go for the lookup function, and I'll explain why I prefer looking up the using the lookup function in this case. Not to say that the VLOOKUP function cannot work. It can work because you are comparing the pay grade, which is this one, comparing with any pay grade here and retrieving the corresponding value here. The same thing that you did for job description, you can do here, and it can work perfectly fine. Okay, so I'm gonna stick just with the lookup function, just for a change, so that you guys probably you are also familiar to use that. And also in that, the Max scheme also uses the lookup function, and it will be wise just for me to go with the lookup function and explain to you how this one is working. So there are two things that I want to clarify here. So let me just highlight, pause my screen and just get this section here so that I can just talk about these parts here. Let me just do this. Like I said, guys, I'm using Lightshot. It's a very powerful software. I just want to use it to explain some things here. So let's start with the lookup value, this one here. Now the lookup value, guys, is it's something that you guys have been talking about even when you look at the VLOOKUP and the HLOOKUP. It is actually the column which you're going to be comparing with another column in another table and trying to find if there is a match in that column. Okay, so if the value here that is pointed by the red arrow rather matches the value in the table that you are looking into, then you can retrieve or do something or perform some action. Okay, now the vector, let me just get this, the vector is actually the column that you are going to be comparing, so to say. Okay, you're going to look up all the values there. So the lookup value is this one that you want. It's an individual value. Okay, it's an individual value, but the vector is a range of values that match this. So the lookup value actually is being compared to the values that exist in this vector. If there is a match, then what is retrieved is the value that is in the same row as the result vector. Let's give an example. We have A1 here. Okay, let me just extend this. Let's do this. Let me just extend this so that you see. We have A1 here, and I want to compare A1 within this table. Let me just do that and do that. So I want to compare A1. This is my lookup value, and this is my lookup vector. Okay, and I'm comparing this value. Wherever there is a match, in this case it matches there, then I pick up the lookup, the result vector is this one, and the value that is retrieved is actually corresponding directly where there is a match, and that will be the value that is going to be retrieved. So in other words, this is my lookup value, lookup value, okay, and this is my lookup vector. Okay, let me just put an arrow there. This is my lookup vector. Okay, and right at this point, let me just change my color. Pardon me, guys. You know, when you're thinking like a computer scientist, everything. So right at this point, you have a match. Okay, so this is where the comparison is taking place. So the lookup vector, all these values here will be compared to the lookup vector, and because there is a lookup so this part here, this is my result vector. Now the color that I've chosen is crazy. It's crazy indeed, crazy green. Let's choose, okay, let's choose I don't know if that's pink or purple. I'm not so good with colors. This is my result vector. Okay, and this is the one here. This is my result vector. Okay, and this is what we are talking about here. So this one is this one. Guys, don't pardon me, my screen is messed up, and this one, the lookup value is this one, and the lookup vector is actually this one. Oh, this is guys, it's like I'm learning how to match things, like you know, those preschool or nursery students, and they have these crayons to do some matching and stuff like that. Alright, guys, don't worry, I was just trying to highlight some things for you, just to make some things clear. If you're not careful, you're not serious, if you're not seeing what I've done, just rewind this video and you will see that. So I can easily go back, just rewind as well, and you will see what I have done. Okay, so I'm gonna escape this and go back here. So I'm gonna provide the lookup value here, which is my pay grade, comma, and then I provide my lookup vector, which is just this one. Select it and drag all the way down. Now guys, I'm going to show you a very powerful feature on in Excel, where how you can make this actually as absolute referencing. Okay, so you're gonna tap F4 on your keyboard, just hit F4, and you see that automatically it changes to absolute referencing. I know you can't see it down here because there is this statement here, but you can see A3 has been changed to absolute referencing, or you can see right from top here, A3 to A12, it's been changed to absolute referencing. So I'm going to type there, put comma, and this time I'm going to select the result vector. So just click there and drag down. This is relative referencing, but to change it to absolute referencing, I hit F4 on my keyboard, and automatically it changes to absolute referencing. And that's it. Those are the values that you supply with the lookup function, and hit close that and hit enter key, and you see that this is going to be 20,000, and you see that A1 actually matches 20,000. Guys, if you don't understand this, kindly rewind this video, go over until this stuff makes sense to you. Okay, so we're done with this section. I'm gonna go to step 8. Rather, we're not done, are we? Let's see. Look up from the pay grade table the annual pay rate for this employee, and then multiply this by the value in the column, in the works column. So we haven't yet multiplied this by the value in the works column. So I'm going to just click on here and go at the end of the formula and multiply by the value in the works column. Just hit this one. Okay, that's F17 and hit enter key, and that is the result that you have. So remember guys, don't forget to multiply this by the value in the works column. Okay, so let's go back now to the question paper. Step 8. In cell G17, enter a formula to display full-time if the works column contains 1, not started if the works column contains 0, and part-time if the works column contains 0, not if it doesn't contain 0 or 1. Okay, so I'm going to go back here, and in the job type, okay, I'm going to enter that is in the job type in cell G17, which is that equal to if. Okay, so what am I comparing? If works equal to 1, then this chap, no, let me not say this chap, that's not a good term to use, sorry. Full time. Okay, this person is actually working full time, or Abe Shama is working full time. If they are not working full time, then let's find out if they are working part-time, which is 0. So if it's 0, then these guys, they are working, they are not working actually, not part-time. Let's go back to the question paper and verify. They have not yet started. So let me just select that, copy it, come back here and paste it there, close that. They have not started work. The only other thing that remains, if we've done 1, it's full-time, and 0 is not started, the only other thing, then it's not a 1, it's not a 0. So I'm just going to type part-time, because the last one was part-time, and close that, close this, and close this. I hope so. Yep, I hope I've closed all the brackets. So this one, and that one. Hit enter key, and there you go, it displays full-time. Okay, excellent. Next step, this carries 7 marks. Guys, can you imagine? You cannot afford to lose 7 marks just for doing this. Okay, one common mistake that I've noticed is that students here, you have one if statement here, and then you have another if statement, and then you start to test again for if, the last one here. No, please don't do that. The way the if statement works actually, guys, is that if you have 3 conditions, okay, it's 1 or 0 or none of them, then you are going to have 2 if statements. The number of if statements is almost always 1 less than the conditions that you have, or the outcomes, the possible outcomes that you're going to have. Okay, so please don't confuse yourself in that regard. Okay, so let's go back here Let's go to step 9. In cell H17, enter a formula to calculate weekly wage in rupees, rounded down to the nearest paisa. 1 rupee is equal to 100 paisa, and 1 year is equal to 52 weeks. So guys, remember, we just calculated the annual salary. We now need the weekly salary. We've been told that there are 52 weeks in a year, so we need to find, if there are 52 weeks in a year, how much can somebody get per week? I mean, it's simple mathematics there. So you're saying this is going to be equal to the annual salary divided by the number of weeks, 52, and this gives you the wage for the week. Okay, now if you hit enter key like that, you will get a value, but the value is going to be a relatively larger decimal number. And this is why the last part here asks you to round down to the nearest paisa. So the nearest paisa is 1 rupee to paisa, which is just 100. Okay, so we are rounding down to the nearest hundreds. Okay, and the rounding down to the nearest 100, you just count how many zeros that you have. So in this case, I have 2 zeros. If it was the nearest 1000, then I have 3 zeros. If it was the nearest 10,000, then I have 4 zeros. Okay, that's how it is. Okay, so I'm going to get this same formula, and before this formula, I'm going to put round down, put bracket, and then close this bracket. At the close of the bracket for this one, just close it. I'll put comma, and then the number of digits that I want. So we are told to round to the nearest paisa. The nearest paisa is this one. The nearest paisa, 1 rupee to 100 paisa. So the nearest paisa is 100. You count the number of zeros. This is 1, 2, and so the number of digits that you retain is 2. And put there, and you will see that this one is going to be 0.61. Okay, so that is going to work out perfectly. Next, replicate the formula that has been entered in step 6, 7, 8, and 9 for each employee. So in other words, we've been asked to replicate the formulas that we entered from here. So I would replicate this one. Just click and hold and drag it down to the last record here. Do the same thing. Just drag it across here. Nope, sorry, it's this one. Drag it here. I was almost thinking I'm replicating the formula across like that, but that's not the way it works out. Okay, so click here and drag it down all the way to this one, and lastly, get this one, drag it down all the way there, just up there. So I'm going to select this and enlarge my columns. Okay, there you go. So now guys, what I want to do, I want to let me go back here to the question paper so that I see what I want to do. In cell H48, enter a function to add the total weekly wage bill. Okay, the total weekly wage bill in H48. So down here, this is H48. In other words, we're supposed to add enter a function which is going to add all these here. And guys, there's an easier way of doing this. I'm just gonna do that. What I'm going to do, let me just do this. There is an easier way of doing this. You can actually hold Alt key on your keyboard, hold Alt key, and then plus equal to sign. So hold Alt key when your cursor is here, and then plus equal sign. Okay, that is going to automatically put in the formula for you. Okay, so let's go back here. So once that box is selected, I'll hold Alt key and tap on my equal sign, and you see that it says sum H7 to H17 to H47, and then hit enter key, and that is the sum there. Okay, so that is an easier way of doing that. If you are not good, you can just go ahead and type this. Okay, but you can save some time if you know some of these shortcuts. Okay, so I'm going to, so we are almost done. I see my wife is looking at me. We're almost done. Okay, so step 12, apply formatting, appropriate formatting to all cells. Okay, so let's go ahead. Now the appropriate formatting is what we were asked in the question. Go back on top, and this is the formatting that was gone. So display rather all currencies in Indian rupee to 2 decimal places. Okay, so for example, you can use this symbol or that. So I'm gonna use that because that is easy to find here. So I'm gonna format this. Okay, format it, this one, and select this other one as well. Hold key control on my keyboard and format this one as well. Oh god, okay, this is not good. Okay, sorry about that. My computer misbehaved. Okay, so I'm gonna do that one more time. I'll hold this, drag it down there, or alternatively what I can do is just work with them separately so that I don't need. So currency, tap here and press I on your keyboard. Just tap I on your keyboard, just go to Indian rupee, that's the one there, select it and make sure that it's selected to 2 decimal places and say okay, and then do the same thing for the last one. The last one, you must make sure that you select all the way to the total and go here, currency, select, tap II and Indian rupee, make sure it's 2 decimal places and that one there. Okay, so that is done. So the formatting has been done. The only thing that you need to do again is to expand the tables or enlarge the tables or make sure that the width are actually fitting properly. Okay, so what I'm gonna do now is to go back to the question paper. That was step number 12. So step number 13, sort the weekly wage table into descending order of annual salary, then ascending order of job description, and that's just a 2 mark there. So first of all, descending order of job of salary, annual salary, and then ascending order of job description. Let's go ahead and do that. This is actually easy. All you need to do is to select the entire table. Please make sure you select the table here. I repeat, don't go ahead and just select this or select this. No, please. Select the entire table first of all that you want to sort, excluding the last value for the weekly. Otherwise, if you include it, it's going to change everything. So then go to sort here and go to custom sort. Now we've been told first of all to sort by annual salary. So sort by annual salary and then sort largest to smallest. Now this is just the first part, and then there is another part that you need to sort about the job description from in ascending order. Okay, so add another level, and this one sort by job description from A to Z. This is very important, guys. This is a very important. If you don't understand what I did here, can you rewind this video and have a go at this again? Okay, so I've done this to the best of my knowledge, and I'll click on OK, and you notice that I've sorted this in first in our priority in descending order of annual salary and in ascending order of job description, and that is perfectly done. Save and print the spreadsheet, and then you need to make sure that before it is printed, your name, center number, and candidate number are entered in appropriate place on the spreadsheet. So I'm going to do that. So I'm going to insert in my header my name and candidate number. So I can just put even just center. Okay, Chikasa Evans, comma ZM 556, 0001. Okay, and that is just that. Next step, okay, make sure that the orientation is landscape, so we can change that when printing. Okay, and make sure that row and column heading are displayed and all the contents of the cells are fully visible. Okay, that is fine. All this could have been done in the printing section, so just come here, print, and then do your page setup before you print, okay, because you need to change all those things. So make sure that it is in landscape, and make sure that the rows and column heading are displayed. We have not been told to show the grid lines, so don't bother about that. But on the header and footer, you can check that the header I've already put there. I put it there, so it's still fine. The footer contains that is still fine. Okay, let's go back to the question paper. We need to make sure that this is in landscape and that is that. So the only thing that we didn't do is to change that this should show the formula. So let's go ahead and change that. So just say okay and go back and change to formulas and say show formulas. And then what you need to do is to select this and make sure that you double click so that the tables are actually, or the fields are actually visible, fully visible. Okay, so that is done. So what I'm gonna do is to go back to file and print, and I'll go to page setup again just to verify that everything is as it's supposed to be. The page is landscape. If I go under sheet, grid and thin visible, and then under header I have my name in there, so this is perfectly fine. So just verify that all these four, the name is there, landscape, row and column heading are fully displayed, and the contents of this are fully visible, and that is perfectly fine. So what I'm gonna do, why if I open the browser, close it, I don't need the browser. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, so this is perfectly done. I can change my page size or my paper size to be A4 because I'm using A4 paper. So now don't worry about this space that is going to exist at the end. There is because the formula that follows next on to cannot fit. Now the worst kind of mistake that you can make is try to compress this to fit on the page. We have not been told to compress this, so it's supposed to be printed as it is. I know you have 4 pages. The next page is going to appear like this, the other page is going to appear like this, and the last page is going to appear like this, but it doesn't matter because this is what the question asks you to print. Okay, so just go ahead and print this. I'm not going to print this. I'm trying to save on paper and ink and stuff like that. I don't need to print this. Okay, so you go ahead and print this. I just wanted to show you how to format this so that you guys can be ready to print it. Okay, so I'll go back here, and this is going to be printed that way. Okay, suppose it has been printed and everything works perfectly and printout number 1 has been done. We've been told to print a formula showing the values, and we need to make sure that the printout fits on a single page. This time around we've been told to change the page that fits on a single page and the contents are fully visible. So I'll go back here, and we need to remove the formula thin here and go click here and double click later, okay, to remove the hashtags and all. And I'll go back here to print. Now I'll go to page setup again. Now make sure the original format of this was portrait. Okay, so don't leave it in landscape. It was initially in portrait. The only question that asked us to put it in landscape was this part, and it was under this section. Here we've not been asked that it should be in landscape because the original layout of this page was supposed to be portrait. Guys, that is very important. Please don't ever forget that. So go back to portrait again, remove the header and the column and row headings because that question doesn't ask you to do that. Okay, the only thing that the question asks you to do are 2 things: that it fits on a single page, and then the contents are fully visible, and also that the candidate number and that are appearing. So this is perfectly fine. I've removed that, and let's see how it appears. So it appears just like that, and it's perfect. Okay, I'll make sure that it's A4 and it is supposed to fit on a single page wide. So go to scaling and say fit on 1 page. Okay, and that everything has been fit on 1 page. Then you go ahead and print this. I'm not going to print this. You go ahead and print this, and this is perfectly fine. Okay, so let's go to step 16. Change the data so that origin data or data works 0.6 of a week. Ruju Ranjan works full time, and Prava Subramaniam what a name. Okay, works 0.8 of the week. Okay, so let's go ahead and change this. So what I'm gonna do is to just search for where this data is. Now imagine you have so many records and you don't need to punish yourself searching where is Sanjara, where is what I just love to do is just to type out this data. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is to just type it out, the names that I had there. I have my question paper here, so I'm just gonna look up my question paper. It's origit, almost said original, supposed to be origit rather, origit data. Okay, so for origit data is this guy here. We need to change the time, okay, the number of hours that the guy has worked, so to 0.6, and then we look for find next. We look for the next person is Ruju. Okay, Ruju Ranjan. Okay, find, and this is Ruju Ranjan. Almost said Roger Ramjet. I mean, I've seen the cartoon Roger Ramjet. It's an old cartoon of some crazy chap who used to to take a pill. When he's upset, you take a pill and then you become so powerful. Roger Ramjet, look it up on YouTube, maybe it could be there. Okay, so this guy works full time. So full time, we were told it's supposed to be 1. Remember, when it's 1, then it's full time. So find next. So you see that Ranjan has changed to full time. So the next person that we are going to look out for is Prava, and this is Subramaniam. Okay, like it's the name of a chemical formula in chemistry. Yeah. Okay, so this guy works 0.8. So here we change to 0.8, and I think that's the last one. Okay, so close, and then let's go back to the question paper, and then we say save and print the spreadsheet showing the values, and make sure that the printer fits on a single page and the cells and things are fully visible. So I'm going to just highlight this just to make sure that it fits on a single page, and go to file and print. And there is nothing much to change here because the previous setting actually allows everything to be the way it's supposed to be. And go ahead and print this. Okay, so that is that. So that was the printout number 3, and suffice to say that is the last part in the Excel or data analysis section. Thank you so much for watching this video. I know it has been quite lengthy also because I needed to take time to explain some few things, but nevertheless I hope you guys have understood. And if you haven't, watch it over and over. The May-June gives you an idea of what to expect in the October-November paper, the one that you're writing on Tuesday. And I ask you to go through it thoroughly, just to make sure that you are well prepared for this paper. So the next video that I'll do probably tomorrow, because now I need to go home. I think my wife has done a tremendous job allowing me to be here and just waiting for me to record this section. Thank you so much, my wife, my baby. Thank you, I love you, and thank you. Yeah, I received that. She's saying mwah. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I'll pause this video here, and tomorrow I'm gonna do a video on web authoring, and I'll probably finish it up on training notes, and tomorrow. So I should have a full paper 3.2. I've already downloaded paper 3.1, and I would want to go through paper 3.1 probably over the weekend. I'll do a video for paper 3.1, and you guys, you can look it up as well. So thank you so much, guys. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I encourage you to subscribe without fail. Without fail, yeah. I'm doing a good job, just I'm not boasting, but I'm doing a good job just to make sure that you guys, you are prepared for your exam. Okay, so share this video with your teachers, including the principal, the principal of your school. Like my channel, and I'll see you in the next video. God bless you tremendously. Okay, thank you so much. So I'm gonna pause this video and see you.